The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised. I don't understand why I feel the need that I need to watch these like internet horror conspiracy videos at like 2 a.m. when when I should be sleeping.
It's because that's just kind of the vibe that being up at 2 a.m. kind of creates.
Yeah, it's like I'm definitely more into the stuff that like fucks with you mentally rather than like gore or stuff that jumps out at you.
I don't hate jump scares on principle because I think a good well-deserved jump scare is a good like cherry on top to kind of let you just get all this tension built up out of you. But when you build horror entirely around it, it loses its effect and it's just annoying.
I feel like horror peaked at man door, hand hook, car door.
Honestly, yeah.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, a proud member of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD. Joining me is Matt.
Hey.
And Aiden.
Heyo.
And we are talking about the final installment in the Adventure Time Distant Lands series, Wizard City. I'm just going to say up front, I find this very weird that this is the last segment for this, but whatever.
Yeah.
Especially after Finn and Jake, this just kind of feels tacked on.
Yeah, I was also kind of hoping, like, okay, this is the last Adventure Time thing. Maybe we'll finally be able to let it go. Then HBO Max, like 2 weeks ago, was like, hey, we're making a Fiona and Cake miniseries. I'm like, look, does anyone even like Adventure Time anymore? Like, honestly.
Yes.
Let it die already.
I think there's still plenty of people that love Adventure Time.
I know people who still love Adventure Time. Trust me. There's still an audience for this.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
At least with the Fiona and Cake up, like, that's at least characters that they haven't explored as much as the other characters that got.
They made her legs beefier.
Yeah.
Now she's thicker.
Well, beyond that, I just mean in terms like, because at least of all Adventure Time that I've seen, I know there was the episode where they kind of established them as characters in a fan fiction that Ice King was writing. And then I think they did at least another episode with them featured. But I'm not sure. Did they do anything beyond those 2 episodes?
They did like 2 or 3, if I remember.
I think there was also like a comic.
Right. Well, I mean, comics aside, we're talking just a visual medium, like shows and stuff.
Yeah, like visual mediums like comics.
I mean, like moving visual medium.
You move the pages of a comic. The moving pictures.
It's like Filmation, like from Captain Underpants.
Yeah. The Flipperama, man.
Flipperama, sorry.
Flipperama.
Yeah. But we are not here to talk about Fiona and Cake because that does not exist yet.
We will.
I'm sure we will, because we're a slave to the algorithm. We are talking about Wizard City. It is another weird, like, post-series ending, and as I learned watching this, really hinges on you remembering what happens in 5 episodes of Adventure Time, which I do not.
I never saw the last few episodes of Adventure Time. I dropped after, like, season 5. I
stopped watching pretty... probably about that. I came back when they would do like the weird mini series, like when they did Marceline versus the other vampires, or when Finn goes to the human island. But then my wife and I tuned back in for like maybe the last 2 episodes just to see like, okay, well, how is this actually going to end? The whole thing with like Bubblegum's family, I don't remember any of that, and apparently that hinges on some information on this special, but we persevere.
We just gotta go with what we know and talk about this special just with the knowledge that we have.
Yeah, so this one, we are brought to Wizard City, which I guess, if this is led to believe, I did not look this up ahead of time, I think had been shown in the show at some point.
Yeah, Wizard City is a thing that they established at some point, because I remember there was a point where like Ice King went there. So like it's relatively early on that they established Wizard City, but I don't think this I don't know if they really went into too much detail about it or not. Somebody can correct me though.
But
feel
yeah,
like I do remember seeing Wizard City at some point in the show. Like I remember I'm not sure if it was in the episode where Finn and Jake were learning magic.
maybe.
And then
Might
there
have
was
been.
yeah, and then there was I think another episode like you guys mentioned with like the Ice King or something. But I do seem to remember seeing Wizard City at some point, but there's never been like as much of a dedication to like one whole episode like there is here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one deals like entirely inside of Wizard City. A young Peppermint child who has a dark mystery about him is going to audition for wizard school, basically. And we're met with the familiar character of Abracadaniel, who apparently is the janitor.
He's the groundskeeper.
And his niece Kadabra is also joining wizard school, and she is just like,
I love her.
She's alright.
She's a dork.
She's adorkable. I love her.
She is very adorkable.
I will say this right off the bat. Like within like the first 2 minutes, you see Truth Goose, and then he immediately dies.
Yeah.
He just instantly eats shit.
He's he's incinerated, and then you see later that he's like he's pickled in a jar. Like,
God, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one is basically just like we're obviously going to talk spoilers, but it turns out that, and I'm inferring all of this from a flashback. I don't remember any of this happening. Peppermint Butler apparently imbued part of his spirit into a facsimile candy child version of himself, so that when he became stupid from the weird juice that Bubblegum's family had that was turning all the candy people back into idiots, so that past dark wizard Peppermint Butler's spirit is now in like hosting in this weird child version of him, and basically he's making this child version go to wizard school to regain his dark magic powers.
See,
that sounds about the size of it. Yeah.
See, we watched the exact same special, and I have no idea what the fuck you just said during half of that.
I don't know what the fuck I just said.
This is really the problem when it's like, this is following up the ending of a show that I didn't actually see the ending to.
Yeah, like this really hinges on you remember the ending to a show that ended almost 5 years ago.
But the thing to me at least is that on its own, like if I'm just looking at it on its own, it's okay. It's an all right story on its own. I feel like how would I known all the things that happened at the ending and like all of that, I probably would have had more investment and interest in Little Pep. That's what I'm just gonna start calling him, Little Pep.
Yeah,
sure.
That's kind of just his name. I would probably have more investment in him, but like overall, I was just mostly going through this thinking like, man, I have no fucking idea what happened. I'm just kind of in here to enjoy the wizard school shenanigans, and there are some fun wizard school shenanigans that are to be.
Yeah,
I mean, ignoring all the like lore that you're supposed to remember. I mean, I did enjoy the fact that Kadabra is like actively fighting against becoming an actual wizard and just wants to be a stage magician. And that just leads her to be like this really kind of like outgoing, but also really nerdy friend to Little Pep, who is upset that he got stuck in the wrong house at wizard school. Right, this is not Harry Potter at all.
It's totally not Harry Potter.
And
Skinks.
Skinks, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's totally not Harry Potter. It's got the fucking frog guy. It's got the fucking frog guy from Billy and Mandy. Not really, but I'm pretty sure that's a character from Adventure Time.
No, he is. I do remember him. Yeah.
But like, I was looking at him and like, man, that dude looks like that dude's just like an Adventure Time version of the Dean Toadblatt from Billy and Mandy. He's even got the purple robe and everything.
I will say I did find it funny that they replaced whoever voiced him before with Bill Hader this time.
I noticed that his voice seemed to be or at least to me, it seemed like it was fluctuating a bit, like between two actors. But I wasn't sure if I was just hearing that or.
I don't know. Wikipedia and the Adventure Time wiki said it was Bill Hader, so I don't know if maybe he's just fluctuating his voice or what. But
I wouldn't picked out that was Bill Hader though. I don't even remember who voiced him in Adventure Time proper.
It was some actor I didn't know the name of, but yeah, it was weird because like he started talking. I'm like, wait a second, I know that. It's like
right.
It sounds so much like Bill Hader, and bam, there it is.
Well.
The only other character that I recognized the voice of was I think her name is Caldonius or something. The one teacher that like believes in Little Pep and all that, and, like yeah, she's like encouraging. Apparently that's the same actress that voices Beakley on the new DuckTales, which is why it was bothering me the whole time. Like, wait a minute, I know this voice. But yeah, then I think like I'm pretty sure Emo Phillips voices Abracadaniel, if I remember right.
Oh my god, does he really?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's him. I'll double check on that, but we can move on.
Yeah.
So I will just say I have kind of been out of love with Adventure Time for a long time, and like I've never really been completely on board with these distant land things. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It's a thing, but this will be the last thing. And like we said, I thought the Finn and Jake thing was like a pretty satisfying ending.
Like the Finn and Jake one, I think that one worked. I think just because like it doesn't matter when you watched Adventure Time and when you dropped it, the impact is still going to be felt. You don't need all of the like extended lore to kind of get most of the story of Finn and Jake's like last big adventure. Because meanwhile with this one, it's like if you don't know that Peppermint Butler destroyed Wizard City at some point, well, they tell you, but there's definitely a lot of impact that I feel like probably could have been gained from it, but that's on us.
Yeah.
That's kind of more on us. I will say though, one thing I do really appreciate about this was just, while I didn't really care too much about all of the main characters, I felt them just kind of all right. I did love all of just the random other side characters and students. Just all of their weird, like, Adventure Time-ass designs.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun little, like, characters in there. And I noticed one in particular, because I noticed one of the students at the wizard school was actually one of the rabbits from BMO's special.
Oh really? Shit, I didn't even notice.
Well, it was like a rabbit popping their head out of a window during this one moment, and like I had to like, I don't know, I was just kind of glancing over it, and I was like, oh hey, that's one of the rabbits from the spaceship.
That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't even notice. That's fun. Yeah. I was wondering if they're going to revisit any of those sort of characters, because that whole special was like a prequel to Adventure Time proper. So I was wondering if they were going to bring any of those characters back for any of these other specials, since they took place after the show. And you know, there's a bit of a time divide there. But yeah, I was interested in that. So that's, at least as like a little cameo, that's a fun little reference.
Yeah.
To correct me from earlier, no, it is not Emo Phillips. It's some guy named Steve Little, who was one of the writers in the show.
Right. Well, Steve Little voices Peppermint Butler too. I know that much.
Oh, well then he's playing both of them then.
Right. Well, Peppermint Butler proper, not the kid version, obviously.
Right. They got a kid actor for him.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at The Geekly Grind.
Anyway, like I was saying earlier, I've never really been in love with any of these, but I didn't hate this one. Like, I thought like the kind of like cute little friendship that Little Pep and Kadabra form is kind of fun, and then like how they're all like hanging out at the coffee shop trying to like fucking figure out how to transmute an egg into a demon thing.
Yeah.
I thought like all that was fun, and then like how it turns out all the teachers are secretly evil and they're trying to resurrect an ancient demon or some shit under the school.
And they
like,
kidnap a student only for him to explode and die.
Yeah, apparently it's like the blood from the heart of an ancient demon has been dripping out, and apparently they keep trying to feed this to people to see if they are able to like imbue the demon's power in it. So they fucking kill a student to do it. He was like the top student.
He was like the top
Spader, yeah.
He was the top student, but he was an asshole.
He was an asshole. But yeah,
everyone loved him.
Also, I want to point out, like one of the characters is Spader's like cousin, and he gets turned into a rock really early on, and they don't turn him back until the end of the special, and I thought that was really funny.
And I love the fact that he keeps moving locations despite the fact he's a rock and cannot talk or move. And it's never explained if anyone is moving him. In fact, everyone else seems to like talk at him as if he can talk, but it's like he is a rock in a sweater vest. He could do nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I didn't hate this one. I thought it was fine. I thought it was just kind of a cute little adventure thing. I was kind of with it up until like the very like almost the after credits thing, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
I did not see the after credits thing, but
we'll
save that for the end.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that. But
yeah, no. So like, yeah, overall it was okay. I thought there's a whole plot line where Pep basically like I forget what the circumstances for it was, but Pep accidentally ends up getting arrested for basically being an extension of Peppermint Butler.
Yeah.
And one thing I like is that instead of tossing him in jail, they just throw him in a trash can. They just throw him in a trash can with some shackles. And when Kadabra comes to save him, she's like, "We'll prove to everyone you're not a big, scary, dark wizard anymore." And Pep's just like, "But I want to be."
Well, if I remember it's like they shackled him, and then like Kadabra's trying to save him, so he like
smoke bombs.
Yeah, and then he runs off and hides in the trash can. But like, like the sentiment after that, he's like, "We're trying to prove you're not a wizard," but like, "But I want to be a dark wizard."
But I want to be a dark wizard.
And I like that. Like at the end, he's like, I still want to become a dark wizard jerk, but I'll do it the right way.
Yeah, I did appreciate, because like when eventually like the cult grabs him and takes him to like drink from the blood of the heart of the demon, I had a whole moment where like he's gonna turn it down or something, but no, he drinks it. He's just like, yeah, I want this ultimate power.
Yeah, Kadabra's like, she's standing right next to him, telling him, "Was like, no, you can get your power back, but you can do it the right way. It'll be hard, but whatever." And he's like, "Bruh, I want this power now.
I want power."
And then he gets it and turns it to a weird peppermint demon.
I kind of figured that might have been what he was going for, as far as like, getting out of that situation where obviously he wasn't able to get out of there on his own. He had to become that demon to kind of deal with the cult. So
yeah, but the way they set it up with the inner monologue with the other Peppermint Butler, it kind of gave off the impression of like, no, he just actually wanted this power.
I think it was a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah. I like to think more on the sense of like, no, he just actually wanted the power.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess like I don't know if we're too late for this, but like in a general sense, how did you guys feel about this? Like both in like just as it is, and like in a sense of like, okay, this is wrapping up the Distant Lands series.
I thought that it was a fine episode. And this was always a weird thing when they detailed what Distant Lands was going to be, and that it was 4 episodes, and here are what the 4 episodes here are the characters that these 4 episodes are centered around. I think everyone was collectively like, well, the one about Peppermint Butler, I don't think anyone was really like wanting this one. Like, one's based around like, Finn and Jake, and like, Bubblegum and Marceline, obviously, and then BMO you can kind of make an argument for it, but like, I think a lot of people were maybe not like, I don't know. I think there was maybe other characters they could have gone into for a 4th episode other than him, and that people would have been satisfied with.
I mean, honestly, I feel like this entire this entire special is literally to tie up the loose end of that thing that Peppermint Butler did at the end of the show.
Yeah, and in that regard, yeah, I guess that does function well as that. Again, coming from the perspective of people that didn't really, watch the later half of Adventure Time for that. So,
Don't take our word for gospel.
Yeah, no.
We have no idea what we're talking about.
Obviously not. But as a special on its own, I thought it was still decently entertaining. I was able to kind of pick up what it was kind of trying to wrap up, just from the stuff that they went into, like the flashbacks and stuff that they did in here without me having had seen those other episodes. I was able to kind of understand what was going on.
Right.
So as its own thing, I thought it was fun. As a conclusion to Distant Lands, I think it is disappointing. I feel like they should have ended with Finn and Jake, and I have absolutely no idea why they didn't just end with that, because it is the perfect ending for the show and for the special and for the series as a whole. And I don't know, I think I had heard that originally it was just those first three, and then they added the fourth one. So that might have been the reason why. I don't know that for a fact, but that would make the most sense.
I almost wish they just. I almost wish they just waited for Wizard City to be finished, release that first, and then end off with Finn and Jake.
Yeah, because there was already like a gap of time between these episodes releasing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like those first two came out like last year, and then these other two came out this year, and it's like you could have waited until it was done with, and then reverse the order or whatever. And, with the COVID like throwing everything into disarray, like as far as production stuff goes, I don't think anybody would have thought twice about it. Like.
Yeah. Plus I feel like that would make the ending of Finn and Jake way more impactful, because then it's the end of Adventure Time. But because of this, it's like a +1 basically. It's like a weird +1.
It's a weird like an epilogue that isn't relevant to the main story for the most part.
It's relevant to the main story. We just don't know what that story. We just don't know how. That's the vibe I'm getting from it.
It's just like, and I don't know if it's the same for everybody else. I mean, maybe those people that are into Peppermint Butler's whole deal, but like I never latched onto him a character, especially when they started like, okay, he's like a secret dark wizard, and he's like trying to gain demon powers through the whole show or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not into that. I'm not vibing with that story. And then we got this one where he's trying to basically resurrect himself from being dead or whatever, and like, okay, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, it was just not like a great time.
Other thing,
it was a fine time.
Yeah, the other thing too is that because it's the last episode, and the next Adventure Time, and presumably lasting until they greenlight another project, inevitably, because they will. At least in this universe, the epilogue for this episode doesn't I don't know, it's just weird. So Aiden didn't see
dude.
it, but...
Yeah, okay, so
y'all explain this to me.
Okay,
what the fuck
so
happened?
You know how you saw Choose Goose exploded or whatever?
Yeah.
So apparently he's not
in a pickling jar like later in the episode.
Yeah, so he's not actually dead. So he goes back down to the demon chamber and grabs like the little tadpoles that from Buffo's little tadpoles he had in his sack. And apparently he is planning on becoming the next great demon lord or whatever, because he just outright says that he's evil now.
And I'm like, sounds like a joke ending.
It sounds like a joke ending, but it presents itself as like, okay, this is going to be a thing to deal with later on. But obviously, this is the end of it, so it's like this will never get resolved.
Yeah, because keep in mind, Aiden, this wasn't presented in a joking way. It was actually presented in as serious as Choose Goose can get. It was presented in a very serious way. But the thing is, though, I'm almost certain Choose Goose was in Together Again, right? And in the last Distant Lands thing.
Yeah, I thought he was dead.
He was like dead. Like
he was in the underworld.
So obviously, whatever that like prologue stuff in this episode led to, like, didn't pan out or anything like that. So I don't even know like why even bother putting that in there. Like it's strange. It's a strange decision.
Yeah, no, like I mean, I think I mentioned it before in the Finn and Jake episode, and I will stand by it. Is that like there will always be Adventure Time because there's always going to be a new adventure, even if it's not Finn and Jake, it'll be somebody else.
In the theme song, it says the fun will never end, and by God, they're gonna stick by that.
Oh my God, they're gonna stick by that if it kills them.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing I did write down, I did like the snail Easter egg.
Oh yeah,
I didn't catch the snail.
It's when Pep is in Bufo's office, and there's like a little door he opens, and there's the snail there, and it hisses at him.
Oh,
yeah.
I must have looked away at that point.
Because that was the thing in the original show, right? They it turned out the snail was like
he's the lich.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cute little callback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. I mean that's cute, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not mad that I watched this. I guess it's fine, but
it's just a disappointing follow up because I think with how the last one turned out, I think everyone knew that this wasn't going to live up to expectations. It's like, oh, how are they going to follow up the Finn and Jake episode? It's like they weren't. They never were.
Yeah.
It's
just kind of it existed. That's
fun.
How I take it. It's fine.
It's a fun episode, but since they're all out now, maybe just save that third episode for the last one that you watch.
Yeah. You know what?
Basically, just switch Finn and Jake's episode with this one and watch them in that order, and I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't already watched all of them at this point.
Yeah, I have a feeling anyone that's listening to this one is probably an Adventure Time fan, so they already know what's up.
Yeah.
But, just in case.
Yeah, so it all right, not the best, but, it's more Adventure Time, I guess.
And I'm at least decently interested in what the Fiona and Cake show will end up like, because this one is made. Obviously, there's been a bit of a difference in these specials in that they were made for HBO Max as opposed to the regular show, which was made for network television, and how they were able to approach certain topics and content and stuff. So with Fiona and Cake, even if it's a miniseries, if it's just as long as this, 4 episodes or whatever, if it's at least one big coherent story, or it's dealing with the alternate universe type shenanigans, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that one. I am interested in seeing how they're going to approach that.
Right. Yeah. Well, boys, is there anything else we need to say about?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think I've said everything I got.
All right. Well, everybody, that will do it for us. We have now completed the Adventure Time Distant Lands tetralogy or whatever
Quintology.
There you go. One of those.
Quadrilogy. Yes, thank you.
One of those.
Quintology is 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments or on our social thought about, both in the breadth of Distant Lands as a whole or individually, whichever you'd like. But that'll do it for us. Thank you for listening. Stay safe out there, and we will see you later.
See ya.
Peace.
Thanks for listening. You can find all the links to our social media pages in the episode description. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and join our Discord. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The Ink and Paint Club is happy to be part of the Geekly Grind Podcast Network. We'll see you next time.